I mentioned in my Mindfulness 101 video that the coronavirus pandemic was part of my inspiration to start Mindfulness IRL. Or really, it was more like people's reactions to coronavirus and all that came along with that that made me realize how much we all need mindfulness. One major thing this pandemic has called our attention to is how little control we actually have in life. This has been and always will be the case. Viruses have always existed and are likely a permanent part of our world, just like so many other threats to our safety and well-being. Sorry to increase the anxiety for those of you who are already more anxiety prone, but we're all about facing the truth here. And of course, it's a lot easier to not think about all that when there isn't an immediate threat to our safety, health, life's well-being. And it's certainly a lot easier to distract ourselves from the truth when there are, well, plenty of distractions. Since COVID took away so many of our distractions, people have gone bananas, and I can't blame them. Coming face to face with reality and ourselves can be quite a painful process. And it has been a scary time. There's fear of catching the virus, fear of loved ones catching it, fear of passing it along, fear of losing a job, fear after losing a job of how to make it day to day, fear of freedom being taken away. But fear is rarely based in the reality of the moment. So we're not actually seeing things for what they are in that moment. When faced with a reality we don't like, many of us do whatever we possibly can to avoid it, and ourselves. We try to seize control wherever and however we can without realizing the only thing we ever actually have any control over is ourselves and our response. So instead of going within to figure out what we can control, many of us act out in an attempt to regain some semblance of control. We'll lash out at others, distance ourselves, or turn to whatever other distractions we might still have left. TV, alcohol, other drugs, food. We'll act selfishly, all in the name of what we think is individual freedom, when actually that's the opposite of true freedom. We would all be a lot more free if we could let go of the illusion of control, accept what is, be present for it, and work with what we've got. That isn't to say we have to like the things the way they are or can't make changes to move towards something we'd prefer more, but first you have to accept what is. It's no coincidence that during this time, many important social issues have gotten a lot more attention. Without distraction, we're all starting to see things much more clearly. Even those who are in denial, fighting it tooth and nail, trying to control others rather than themselves, see it, even if their response is based in fear. Change is freaking difficult, but those who are willing to face the fear and go within are able to change with the times, making mindful choices that best support themselves and all of humanity. This isn't easy. We all struggle to face reality to some extent, and there are times when that's helpful. But as we continue to navigate life with COVID-19, we need to be more present. So what do we do? How do we do that during something so difficult? First, sit with your emotions. Not literally. Unless you're already sitting. By sit, I just mean experience whatever emotions come up when they come up, no matter how uncomfortable they are. Fear, anger, sadness, guilt. None of these are particularly fun, but if they're there, you might as well deal with them because they won't go away unless you do. Feel the physical sensations that tell you you're having an emotion. Name the emotion. If you feel your feelings, they will shift and change, as everything in life does. If you ignore them or push them away, they'll just get louder and louder and more uncomfortable. because they're trying to get your attention, to give you important information. I'll get more into how helpful emotions actually are in an upcoming video, but for now, just feel your feelings. Second, pay attention to your thoughts, no matter what they might be. Simply notice them, try not to judge them, and let them pass on by, like clouds in the sky. Same as with your emotions, try not to push them away, but also don't get caught up in them. Thoughts are simply thoughts. They aren't necessarily true. This is yet another thing we'll explore more later, but for now, just notice them because they're going to show up whether we want them to or not. And try not to make them any bigger than they already are or let them take over. Again, a thought is just a thought. Third, look at the facts of what's happening around you, both in your own personal experience and in the overall world. I know there's some debate as to what facts are these days, but just to clarify, a fact is a piece of information based in objective reality. And objective means what can be observed using your 5 senses. So your sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. What we're experiencing inside of ourselves in terms of thoughts and feelings, and also the who, what, where, and when of a situation. Sure, our interpretations may differ, but the facts are always facts. And sometimes facts change as we learn more and time goes on, because the only constant in life is change. So don't get your panties all in a bunch if a fact evolves or is eventually proven wrong. That is the scientific process, whether we like it or not. Look at the new facts and adjust to that information. And I get that doing this work can be tedious and confusing, but posting mindless, unchecked memes or factoids isn't doing any of us any good. Also, both trust the experts because you can't know everything, and ask questions if you don't understand something or things aren't adding up until you're able to figure out what the facts are. You are your own personal detective. And last, use this information gathered from paying attention to your feelings, your thoughts, and the facts to make mindful choices in how to proceed forward. Few decisions, especially right now, are entirely black and white. There's a heck of a lot of gray. But taking into account what we just talked about, your morals and values and those around you, you'll have a better idea of what to do. Just trust your gut and try not to judge yourself or others. This is hard, believe me, I know, especially when you see people making very different decisions from you. But you can't always know why they're doing what they're doing. They may not know why they're doing what they're doing. You might not have all the facts. Maybe they don't have all the facts. Probably none of us have all the facts. You can certainly disagree with others, and having open discussions about these disagreements should be done, but judgment only gets in the way of understanding one another and moving forward together. Even with vaccines becoming available, we aren't out of the woods yet. So, like it or not, we are all in this together. So let's let mindfulness bring us together. And speaking of liking things, if you'd like to learn more about what I just talked about in this video, like it, comment, visit my website, and subscribe below for more mindfulness tips.